What's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you with another weekly episode of the Dive In with Dovin, the show where we jump in and we dive in deep to talk about what happened to the Seahawks at the previous game and look ahead at what's going to happen in the next game with the Seahawks with my special guest, of course, Mr. Daniel Dovinh. And there he is, Daniel Dovinh of the Dovin Group at Marketplace Sotheby's. I appreciate you being a sponsor and, of course, supporting my channel this season. And to talk about this, man, I'm waiting for a positive one of these shows, and it feels like it's been an eternity, man. I was hoping, but both of you and I kind of predicted this wasn't going to go well, and sadly enough, we were right once again. Before we get into it, Daniel, for those of you, the people out there who don't know who you are, tell everybody just a quick elevator pitch about who is Daniel Dovinh and what is the Dovin Group at Marketplace Sotheby's, man.
Yeah, so like Norb said, I'm a sponsor this year. I'm really appreciative to be here. My name is Daniel Dovinh. I grew up in Seattle, Washington. I was born in Ballard Swedish Hospital, and I've lived here my whole life. And what we do at the Dovin Group specifically is we take care of everybody, no matter if you are renting, if you are a young person, old person, have lots of money, don't have lots of money. We are here to add value to your life. So our slogan is luxury at every price point. So we take care of anyone in the residential real estate field, anywhere from Pierce County to King County to up to Snohomish County. So that's us right there. So thanks again for having me.
Oh, yeah, man, absolutely. All right, so let's talk a little football. We know the game happened Monday night, our third primetime game in a row and a third primetime loss. This has not happened. As we talked about, all those records, all those streaks that we've had from all those years of wearing the green uniforms and when we're leading at the half and when we prime time, all that stuff, pretty much this season has kind of negated all of it. Not to mention we don't have Russell Wilson because of the injury. So you and I both predicted a loss in this game. It was a lot lower scoring game than you and I both predicted. It was kind of pretty ugly, really, when it comes down to both sides of the ball. I mean, both teams really couldn't do much. And part of it was the weather. I kind of hoped for it. I was hoping that maybe the weather would play a factor. And in a lot of ways, it kind of, again, hurt us more than it seemed to hurt the Saints, as I think if you were to blame the weather for the field goals that were missed by Jason Myers, which really was ultimately the difference in the game, not to say it was all his fault, but if the weather had something to do with those two misses, which ultimately cost them the 3-point loss, well, the Seattle weather just didn't help us out. So let's get your quick reaction of what you thought of the game. Was it what you expected? Was it different? What was your overall just reaction of what you saw?
Yeah, my overall reaction was I was pleasantly surprised at what we were able to do with our run defense. And I thought our corners played really well, actually. I felt like overall, this is one of those games where you really, really felt the loss of Russell Wilson. You know, if in a typical game, if our defense is only giving up 13 points, we should win, right? In theory, we should win. And my question to people out there is Russell Wilson worth an extra 6 points over Geno? Absolutely. I think if Russell was in there, we would have won like 17-13 or like 16-13. And it would have been by the hair of our chinny chin. But this is one of those examples of losing Russell in a tight game like this. Like you said, inclement weather. This should be, Seahawks style, play good defense, run the ball, 12th man, comeback victory, close game on prime time. And if we won, 16-13, that'd be a pretty classic Seattle game. But the fact that it's a loss, it makes everything way worse. And it feels terrible, even though realistically our defense played really, really well. So I would say that's my biggest takeaway is the defense is improving. Unfortunately, the offense is not.
Quick shout out to Stanley Stimson with the super chat. Thanks for the support. Appreciate you doing that. There was a question about, am I going to be doing a Madden simulation later to simulate this game that we just lost? I plan on doing that. In my parallel universe, in the Madden world, I'm an undefeated team. So I hope to keep that going. I'm going to try to do that around 5 o'clock this afternoon. But we're still talking about real life right now. I'm with you. The defense felt like at times was doing a pretty good job of bottling up Alvin Kamara whenever they were trying to run the ball. I was happy to see that. It kind of reminded me a little bit of that Titans game where they stuffed him pretty good at the line of scrimmage. But then apparently when they were scouting him out, they said, okay, we got to stop him on the run. But apparently they didn't put out the memo that he likes to catch the ball as well. And they had no answer for Kamara out of the backfield, which, again, bringing up the Titans game, they did the same exact thing. They checked down so many plays in against the Titans, and we couldn't stop it then, and we couldn't stop it here. And it was so frustrating, especially since the one touchdown that they had was with in the 2 minutes left to go in the first half. That's all they did. They just kept throwing it for the most part. Just kept throwing the ball to Kamara. Kamara to the left. Kamara out of the backfield. Kamara on the screen. And then ultimately, Kamara scored the touchdown. And I kept screaming, cover Kamara! But apparently they didn't hear me because they had no solution. Apparently they were trying to. I think they put Ryan Neal on him to try to stop him. And for whatever reason, they couldn't. And not to take away, he is one of the best players on the field. So if I were the Saints, I would be throwing the ball and giving it to him as well. So sadly, we did stuff on the run, but man, that just watching him go down the field and just with killing us with the pass was frustrating to watch. I don't know about you. How was your reaction to that? That was one thing I felt like the defense let us down, because if we could have stopped them there, maybe it wouldn't have come to that point where we would have been behind.
Yeah, so what it really felt like to me schematically was overall we were okay, but on those plays where Kamara went for, I believe he went for over 120 yards through the air and in the 50s on the ground. So total yards over 170, which is just brutal, right? The big thing about that is I saw multiple times Ryan Neal taking a pretty bad angle, and it was Ryan Neal, who's, backup player against an all-pro stud of a running back. And really, at this point, they have one weapon, right? Michael Thomas is gone. There's no Mark Ingram there anymore. There's, who else do they have? It's really Kamara. Jameis Winston by himself does not scare anyone, right? And that was the most disappointing thing to me, is that we couldn't just key on him. I thought Ryan Neal took a couple really bad angles. I feel like games like this, you really, really miss the savvy of KJ Wright. How many times have you seen KJ Wright as an outside linebacker taking a really bad angle and just like getting slashed, right? I mean, but I feel like our youth is really playing out. Like, yes, we love Ryan Neal in coverage. Yes, we like his toughness, but maybe that's one of the reasons he wasn't on the field before, is he's not a great tackler, for example. I don't know. And, our linebackers beyond Bobby are all really young, and they don't know how to deal with wheel routes and angle routes. And Kamara has always crushed us, but I thought it was extra sad because he was their only hope, and that's what we let him do. And so that was very disappointing. I don't even remember your question. I'm just in my feelings now.
No, I was just talking about Kamara, basically. Just watching the fact that they couldn't stop Kamara when it was obvious he was the only thing they really had going for them on offense, and they couldn't stop him. Yeah. I try to look at the positive in these games, and when at the end of that game, I was thinking back, man, what do we do well? Because, again, granted, no Russell Wilson, so I have to keep putting that out there. But we got all these weapons on offense, right? We had, Alex Collins, and we had the return of Rashad Penny. Woohoo! That was real great. But you got two healthy tight ends. We got the stud receivers we have, and yet, besides one fluky big play to DK Metcalf, which was awesome. I thought that was a great play. DK might have gotten away with a little bit of a little snag and pull down there. But nonetheless, DK was going at it all day with Marshawn Lattimore. But that was it. I mean, that was the one firework that we had. After that, it felt like we just ran the ball at nauseum. And it's not that I didn't mind trying to commit to the run, but you're running again to the mouth of the beast. No outside runs except for one jet sweep that I recall. But just pounding into the one thing that New Orleans defense does well, which is they're like the best in the league, if not second best in the league at stopping the run. And they just kept going at it, going at it. And even during the game, I said, I'm hoping they're setting this up for something else. Because right now, they just keep banging their head like insane. I'm like thinking, when are they going to play that little play action and do some trick? But they never played the trick. There was like a joke without a punchline. It was just the joke over again. And there was like, where's the part two?
Have you heard Chris Sims talk about the Seahawks offense?
You know, you're talking about Pro Football. What was it?
Yeah, PFF.
PFF. I used to listen to them religiously, and this year I've not, because I'm so frustrated that all I know I'm going to hear is bad things about our team. But I have not listened. Is there something that came out of that?
It's just I know that they're going to kill us on this stuff, because right now everything looks bad. Right? The truth is everything looks bad because we lost again. And it was on prime time. But realistically, our defense played really well. On offense, there were times where I felt like we were running it over and over again into a brick wall, like you said. But the thing about it is when other teams do that, it works. Like, right, the Titans did that over and over again. It looked really bad. Their fans could have been frustrated, but when they break it open, it's amazing, right? But we just don't break it open. We just keep hitting the wall. And then on the other side, I've seen us be like, all right, like, screw it. We're just going to throw the ball, and I'll see a series of like 6 passes in a row, and they're all terrible. It's like two drives in a row where there's no runs. And then you know what we do, Norb? When we're backed up, it's like 3rd and 15 because we had some like penalty or like we got a sack or something. You know what we do then? Then we run the ball for like 12 yards with Travis Homer, and then it's like 4th and 2, and then we kick it. It's like absolutely insane, man. Like nothing is working right now on offense. And here's some positive for you. I think someone's going to sign Gerald Everett. I think he's putting some good game tape out there. Good for him. You know, our corners are cheap. That's good news. I think the Jets are going to have 2 amazing picks that they're going to not develop very well, and then we're going to trade for them later. So they're going to be like top 10 draft picks. I'm being facetious here. I'm just really glad that I didn't bet any money on the Seahawks this year. So that's what I think is positive right now.
Wow. Well, that's positive. I hate to hear the negative.
I'm very positive.
So in this game, again, it was winnable. And I don't know if we would have felt very good even if we'd won it. But, of course, you always take the ugly win than a pretty loss. This was just an ugly loss. But every phase of the defense, or every phase of the team failed at some point here. Like I said, my frustration about not stopping Kamara on the defense. On offense, just the inability to move the ball. And then when they did have that moment when we drove all the way to the 23-yard line and got to within field goal range. And what happens right after that? Sack, negative play. And then we're looking at suddenly it's a 53-yard field goal attempt, which he misses. So we're not even, that's the second game in a row, second start in a row for Geno Smith, where we had that position. All we had to do was stay there. We could have just done the brick wall thing.
Just throw it on the ground.
Yeah, he would have been better just spiking the ball, but instead we tried to go forward and we ended up going negative, and that's got to not happen. That's just, you can't go backwards in those situations. So that's not helping out not only your team, but you're not helping out your kicker. You know, it's a lot easier to make a 35, 40-yarder than it is to make a 53-yarder in the wind and the rain.
Norb, that he somehow made his 50-yard kick and then missed 2 under. So, like,
I know, inconsistent.
Everything is going not well right now.
But look, it's every phase, right? So we have special teams. Don't get me started on the jumping off sides on the field goal attempt late in the game with like 3 minutes left. Are you kidding me? At least we would have had a chance for the offense to try to go with like 3 minutes left. Instead, they get the first down, they stop them, but force them to kick the field goal. By the time we get the ball, it's less than 2 minutes. And so defense, special teams, offense, we already talked about the failure to execute and then really is even at the end when you were going, okay, we got the ball, we're down a field goal. When it came time for Geno and the offense to take the field, we had 1 timeout at like a minute 53. I don't know about you guys, but I was already going, this ain't happening. I have zero confidence that Geno Smith is going to bring us down the field and even get us close. And all you have to do is get 40 yards. And you put other quarterbacks, right? If Russ is in there, you feel pretty good that your chances are with 1 timeout and a minute, about 50, you're going to get to field goal range. You think of Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. That's too much time for those guys.
Yeah.
Geno Smith. I saw it coming, man. I was like, "There's no way," and I didn't think it'd be that bad. I didn't think we'd go negative, and be up in the end zone. But man, 4th and 29 or whatever it ended up being.
I got a question for you, Norb. You're watching it live, right? And you can see the whole field. You know, we obviously have the 84-yard bomb to DK. So why not? And I'm not a football guru, but tell me why I'd be crazy in this. What if we went max protect sometime in the next 3 quarters, and we put a running back in, a tight end, both chipping defensive ends, and we just try to throw a few more bombs? What's the worst that can happen? It's like a long punt, right? It's a 50-yard bomb that gets intercepted, right? But at least you give DK a chance, you give Tyler a chance, you give someone a chance to make a splash play. Because, I mean, someone just said in the chat, and I thought it was a really good point. TJ said, take out the touchdown. Geno has 80 passing yards. Shaking my head.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good point.
It is. And I don't know if this is a failure of Geno or is it a failure of the play calling? Because I don't know exactly how many runs. I guess I could look that stuff up. But man, it was a lot of running plays. And so, I mean, Geno had 22. He was 12 of 22. That was his attempts and completions, but it is a backup quarterback, and I guess we were hoping that maybe he would be able to do some things. Like we had these dreams, these delusions of grandeur, as it turns out, that he was going to suddenly take on the Shane Waldron. I remember that like 2 shows ago. Hey, maybe that's the chance we're going to see Shane Waldron's system with the quick passes and the short pass. Where did that all go? The Shane Waldron system apparently is just run. Get sacked, run a draw play. I mean, that's kind of what the defense is. That's what the offense is looking right now. So
I'm sad, man, because I love Pete Carroll and I remember the glory days. But everything looks worse when you're losing, and people are naturally. I mean, this is part of being a leader, right? When things are good, they're going to point to you. And Pete was never actually a player on the field for us, right? But when things are bad, they're going to point to you too and say, "Hey, man, like, what's going on? This is your ship." So. That's I think going to be the biggest storyline is like are Pete and Russell both going to be here next year, and along with that John Schneider, and along with that, is DK going to sign a long deal if we don't have our quarterback situation figured out? I don't know.
I know. I mean, there's a lot of people that are already saying, trade, fire Pete, fire everybody, blow the whole thing up, trade it, trade that, and. Sure, you could do that, and it's always that assumption that when you do that, suddenly you'll just wipe the slate clean, and the next iteration you have is going to be a Super Bowl contender.
Right.
Just ask the Jets how they feel, how that's going. They've had first round picks, they've had number 1 picks in their hands, and look where they're at. They suck worse, and they've had so many coaches. It's not that easy. So for those of everybody who just wants to blow things up, this is like we're looking at this is life after Russell Wilson right now, and it ain't pretty. So. What do we do? I mean, it's a whole nother episode to talk about what we do to fix this, but we still have a season to play. I don't think they're going to blow it up and rebuild right now. We're smack in the middle of things, and they're still not technically out of anything. So they're going to still play these games. So we have to act like we still have something to play for, and we got to talk about the Halloween game against Jacksonville. And I haven't looked into the odds lately, but from what I read last time is that was it Jacksonville getting 3 points? Or,
yikes.
So basically, at the time that the game started off on Monday night, it was basically a pick'em game. Essentially, they were giving Seattle and Jacksonville even chances of winning this game, which is pretty pathetic when you see how bad Jacksonville's been. Although they did get their first win last week in London before the bye, but hey, we are what we are, right? We could easily be 4-3, 5-2, but we're not. And we look like the team that our record says we are, which is we're 2-5. So we go into this game against Jacksonville. I don't know, man. You and I are running out of keys to the game. I said in my last game against the Saints, I said, your keys were pretty simple. You have to remind me what they were. But I said, the only way we win this game is we had some fluky turnover or two. Well, we got the one, remember? We did get the one fluky turnover, and it did turn into a field goal.
That was nice. That was wasn't that Ugo Amadi?
I don't remember who hit it.
I think it was Ugo's back kind of hit the ball, and then I think Jordan Brooks fell. It was nice.
Yeah, that was great. And you know, we didn't turn the ball over on our side, did we? We won the turnover battle, I think. I don't think we turned it over, if I'm reading it. Anyway, so the point is, they did. Yeah, we didn't turn the ball over. We got the one turnover, and really should have won the game if Jason Myers had been at least closer to pretty good.
What's going on with him right now? Like, what's going on with his mechanics? I don't know enough about kicking to understand, but he looks off. But maybe again, with the weather being what it is, but somehow the other guy had a game-winning field goal. So I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, we didn't get it done, even though it was close to the keys. I said,
right.
Do you remember what you said about your keys to the game were last week?
Norb, I remember predicting a loss.
Yeah, we both did.
I was trying to give it a little reverse psychology. It didn't work. Unfortunately, the season is what it is so far. 2-5, right? I woke up this morning. I was like, we could still be 12-5 because you're 17. I was like, what am I doing with my life? I'm like, I've been drinking the Kool-Aid too long. I've been reading Always Compete by Pete Carroll. I'm like reading stuff by like Russell Wilson, like Winning by Tim Grover, you know, like all these mental toughness books. And you know what? This is a time when you need it the most, when things are hard. I don't remember my keys to the game, but I can tell you what I think for the Jags game if you want.
Well, let's talk about it. You know, the battle of the bottom feeders right now. Jacksonville Jaguars. And let's say the name properly. It's the Jaguars. It drives me crazy when people say Jaguars. Jaguar. There's no I in there, so please don't say Jaguars. Okay, whoever says that always drives me nuts. Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, what's the key to us beating the 1-6 Jacksonville Jaguars? I think they 1-6. 1-5, 1-6.
Okay, so I looked up the odds. Basically, it is a pick'em, like you said. Basically, the Seahawks are favored by a little bit, which makes sense because they're at home and they have a little bit better record. So basically, it's a toss-up. You bet $100 on the Seahawks. If you bet $180 on the Seahawks, you would get $100 back. So we're a slight favorite. I would say we need to continue to confuse their quarterback. You know, Homeboy has never lost a game since before high school. You know, number 1 draft pick, you know, Clemson, national championship, all that. Come to the NFL, you find out that what you see before the snap is not what you get after the snap. So I would say we need to give some good exotic looks and we need to pick them off. I think this is a game where we can get an interception. I'm going to say it's going to be someone weird. It's going to be like Ugo or Marquise Blair. They're going to get a pick. And it's going to be off of a Sidney Jones little pass breakup, PBU. And I saw a few PBUs last couple games. They're improving. We're much closer to the ball in the corner position than we were at the beginning of the year. By the way, have you guys heard of Trey Flowers? You know where he signed recently, Norb?
No, actually, I don't.
Yeah, me neither.
Wait. Didn't he go to Cincinnati? They went to Cincinnati.
You know what? Cincinnati's a nice team right now. Everything's messed up right now. Cincinnati's and the Seahawks are bad. That's how you know. It's like craziness. So Key to the game, number 1, we need to make Tyler Lawrence uncomfortable pre-snap, and we need to get an interception. Number 2, and this is more on a macro level, we need to play hard and not give up. We need to hustle because that's the biggest thing is if people get really in their brain stems and like, you know, the team blowing up. The realistic thing is the biggest indicator of a team like giving up on their coach is not playing hard. So as long as we play hard, I think we'll stick together. Because right now they're talking about, oh, don't listen to the noise, stay together as a team. But that's easy to say now. But if you're 2-13 later, that's going to be hard. So I would say this is a very critical game. If you lose this game, Norb, you know how many games in a row that's lost at home?
That's a lot. Too many.
Like 4 or something. And it's like a season ticket holder. Like during this time, you're on a wait list of 10,000 people, and then you go and see this nonsense. We need to beat the Jags. So second key to the game is we just got to play hard, period. And number 3, I'd like our young players to like take a step forward, right? You're playing the Jags, which have Urban Meyer and a young team, and we're a young team too. Now is the time for us to like take the next steps for our future. So let's play fundamental football. I mean, it's a very general theme, but I just want to see our young guys spark, you know, whether that's Taylor coming back, whether that's, hey, maybe Sidney Jones could be here next year, or maybe Marquise Blair or Ugo Amadi step up. Maybe that's, one of our wide receivers that's not DK or Tyler Lockett. Someone needs to step up because we need to start looking at the future. By the way, where is D. Eskridge? What kind of concussion did he have to knock him out like half the season? Like, what?
He had some. I read something briefly about having some vision issues after that concussion. Then they put him on IR, the short-term IR. So, yeah, I'd like to hope that after those 3 games, I think it started with the Rams game. They put him on IR before the Rams game. So this would be his 3rd game out after this game. So with the bye, technically he could come back when Russell comes back. So I have no idea. It's fluky as heck that happened. We're obviously missing him since he's one of our high draft picks and a big weapon, speedster guy out there. Like what I saw for the few minutes he was playing. Freakish stuff, man. I don't know. I hope he comes back because it is weird that one play just knocked him out for a quarter of the season already.
Also, we shouldn't be like so dependent on this draft pick coming in and being such a big part of our offense. And now that he's not here, we're like, we can't do anything. There's nothing we can do.
It's sad if you're relying on your rookie wide receiver to be the reason that your offense is sparked. When you have DK Metcalf, you have Tyler Lockett, you have Gerald Everett, and Will Dissly, and a bunch of some pretty good running backs. There should be no reason why you don't have an open target if this Shane Waldron system is as great as everybody said it was going to be. I've stopped preaching it because I just don't know what they're talking about because we haven't seen it. We haven't seen anything about what this system was supposed to be.
Did you see that play where our left tackle, Dwayne Brown, just got destroyed? Like, he got pancaked. I've never seen him he got shoved on his booty, and it just put Geno in terrible position. I've never seen that guy get lifted up, and I'm concerned that we're going to have a lot of holes next year. Like both tackle positions. Brandon Shell just re-injured his ankle really bad. Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going on with our running backs. I can't imagine Collins back and Carson being 100% healthy. Penny's going to be probably gone. Like, there's a lot of issues. And are we going to bring back Bobby? Not for $20 million. That's sad. Bobby's going to like play for the Raiders with Cage. It's going to be really weird. Anyway, freaking out, man. Freaking out.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't supposed to be that way. This is supposed to be go for the gusto, make our run before big changes may have to happen with contracts and stuff. And instead, it's happening prematurely. Well, all right. I got to come up with some keys to the game, and I'm really having a hard time trying to think of anything that's not cliche and everything we've said at one point or another. I'm going to say some very specific things. First of all, I think Geno needs to have. He was 12 for 22, which is terrible. He needs to throw the ball, I think, at least 27 times. That's 5 more times than he threw it last time. And I want to see them thrown in the 5 to 8 yard area. Okay?
Ooh.
All right? That's how much that asks. Throw it to the running back, throw it to the tight end, slant routes, whatever. We kept talking about, he's taller than Russell. You'll be able to see the middle. All that stuff that we kept thinking was going to happen does not happen. So I want to see more pass attempts of 5 or more yards. And it doesn't have to be more than 10, 5 to 8 yards. I just want to see yards after the catch and a lot of little stuff. The Tom Brady style thing, right? That's number one. Number two, this is an easy one, but Jason Myers, come on. Get your you-know-what together. Come on. You can't go 1 for 3. You got to win the game for us here. You got to be better. You got to make up for what you did last week. So Jason Myers has got to be perfect this week. What's my third key? Oh, God. I could say win the turnover battle. Stop the run. I'm going to put it on the fans. All right.
Oh.
I've been there every time. And somebody earlier in the chat said something about how they saw a lot of empty seats on TV. There always are a few. But, if this is the time when all the ticket holders or whatever are bailing and jumping ship, well, shame on you guys. You need to at least show up and make noise at the right time. Right time, because there was a time when they were doing the Seahawks chant when we had the ball, and I think it messed them up, to be honest. You had to call a timeout because it was about to run out. The play clock was going down to 0. I was blaming, that's you guys. You were too noisy. You couldn't snap the ball. So we need the fans to show up and confuse Trevor Lawrence. Like you said, he's a rookie. He's not having a great season. He's going to be making mistakes. We got to jump on him and make it tough for the dude. So give him a proper Lumen Field welcome from the fans. So the fans have got to really bring it. We got to bring it better than we brought it all year. And I know it's hard too when your team's struggling, but I'm going to certainly do what I can, and I just hope the other 67 or 68,000 of the people who hopefully will show up will bring some of that Halloween fun and make a little extra noise. You know what I'm saying? So those are my 3 keys. Very specific Geno Smith numbers. Jason Myers got to be perfect, and the 12's got to bring it.
Yes, sounds good.
What's your score prediction?
Charlie Whitehurst, man.
Check down Charlie, man. I'll welcome it. Is that TJ Singh saying Whitehurst or Smith?
Hey, good thing we have our first round draft pick, right? So, my bad. Never.
Yeah, he's. Hey, I was trying to see what our first round draft pick of 2022 was doing out there, and from what I saw, he came around the corner and almost sacked Jameis, and then he knocked the ball down. And I think he was in on some tackles. But those are the 2 plays I recall. I don't have the TV copy, so I might have missed some things. But we need more. That could be 4th key. You gotta. We said it already. Jamal Adams you gotta make it. He's got to do something, make it worth the money and the draft picks that we gave up for him.
Yeah.
But score prediction, man.
Score prediction for the Jags game. I think the over-under is like 40-something points on in Vegas. I think that's way too high. It's way too high. I think if we can hold the Saints to 13 points, we can hold the Jags to 14. We'll hold them to 14, and we are going to go to overtime. It's going to be 14-14, and we are going to win on a fake punt and is going to throw it to Colby Parkinson for a bomb. And we're going to win the game by 6. And then we're going to miss the extra point because everyone was so excited and Jason Myers sucks. So we're going to win 23-17 in a single overtime. Michael Dixon with the game-winning play. You know why I say this? Because Michael Dixon's our best player right now. I got to ride the hot hand, Norb. So we're going to win this bad boy. It's going to be way too close for comfort. We're going to win it by 6.
Okay, all right. I'm with you because I thought where you were going was going to equate my score because you said 14-14. I was like, wait a second. I'm always going to go with where I'm going. All right, so that's 23-17 is what you're saying.
No, I take it back. 20-14. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was with you on that. I was with you on the 14-14, but I have a final score of 17-14 with Jason Myers being carried off as the hero for finally a home win before the bye week. It's a low scoring game because we got a couple teams whose offenses are not that great. So, 14-14 with a Jason Myers field goal to break the tie and win it. 17-14. So there you go. That's our predictions. You guys can put your own score predictions, what you think's going to happen in the chat. So we definitely got to make a few minutes for your real estate tip of the week. So last time we first did kind of three-parter. The first time we talked about just what you should do when you think about buying a house. Second one was what to look for in terms of the kind of house and location and things like that. What do you got for part 3, man?
Yeah, so part 3 is where it gets really exciting. Now that we've figured out what you're looking to do and you've gotten your pre-approval from your lender, now it gets really exciting because we get to go out and actually tour properties. Of course, we can look online first, and then we go tour physically. And then once you find properties that you really, really like, we're going to talk strategy that fits you and your family's goals and your financial situation and the situation of the sellers. And we're going to make some competitive offers. So this is where I get really excited because I love negotiating. I love working with people and building relationships. This is a big relationship business. So knowing people in the industry and knowing how to talk negotiation in business and writing a really, really clean contract, that's really the name of the game. You know, you can go get your real estate license, but can you be an expert at negotiating contracts? Well, that's the big question. So now we get to work on, hey, what kind of contingencies do you want in there? Do you want to have an inspection beforehand or after? Do you need a financing contingency? Have we looked at the title report? Have we looked at the seller disclosure statement? There's a lot of details to happen during this time, but this is where I get really excited because we get granular and get really specific, because the way to win in a competitive market is to be very, very detail oriented. Every little thing matters. Imagine like this much for that first down. That little inch matters between you turning the ball over to the other team or you getting a fresh set of downs. And that's what it is for real estate as well. So I would say it's all about the details. And so the next step after that is writing a really, really solid competitive offer that protects your best interests.
Yeah, working in first downs and football terminology into the whole real estate strategy. I love it. All right, that's great. So, you guys, if you have any questions for Daniel, again, you don't have to be buying or selling right now, but even if you're thinking about it years from now, you just want to pick his brain and talk a little football analogies at the same time, give Daniel a call. The number's right there on the screen, or you can check out his description or link in the description. So, I want to, before I let you go, because I know you got to go, but it is a Halloween game on Sunday. I didn't wear my face paint last week. I thought I'd try something different. I thought, okay, got to break the habits because things aren't working. That didn't work. So I'm going to go back to paint my face. I got to do something special for Halloween. But it is Halloween on the day of this game. So I want to ask you a couple Halloween things because you grew up from around here. First one is, what is your favorite Halloween candy? And you guys can answer this in the chat as well.
Okay, someone's got to tell me what they're called, but they're like kind of, I think it's like a Neapolitan type candy, but it's actually coconut based, and it looks like chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry on one candy, but it just tastes like coconut. And I always thought those were really, really good as a kid. So if someone could put in the chat what those are, they're not Snickers, Nick.
I think they might be. I said for them to put their own choices, so they're probably putting their own as well. But if somebody can figure out what he's talking about, because I hate coconut, so not for me. But if you can remember what he's talking about, the wafers things? No, those aren't coconut. But anyway,
the thing that I like is just a straight Reese's peanut butter cup. I feel like if someone puts like 2 king size peanut butter cups in your pillowcase, that's a good value. I'd come back to that house. Like, those are expensive. So that's me, man. I like peanut butter. I also like coconut stuff. I know you don't like coconut stuff, but that's me, man. What about you?
Boy, we were just talking about this morning. I love all kinds of candy, but if I got to go with chocolate, I would probably Snickers. I'm with them. Snickers is a really easy one, but you can't go wrong with Snickers. But Twix is definitely a close second, and I do love myself a Reese's Pieces too, or Reese's peanut butter cups. Actually, both those Reese's products are pretty good. But I'd say Snickers. If all came down to it, and I had to have something, I would go for that. But if I had to go for the non-chocolate, I just picked some of this up today. These are one of my favorite candies. I just love to munch on. My Nerds, baby. I've always loved Nerds. This is my favorite flavor. I actually like my favorite flavor is the box that has the strawberry and the grape. You put that, get the dual opening, and just chuck that down. That's one of my favorite hard candies. So that would be mine. Let's see. I was going to ask you something else about Halloween. Do you like horror movies, Daniel?
I have a toddler. She's almost a toddler. She's acting like a toddler. And because of that, and because I'm scared. No, I don't like horror films.
Oh, you don't? Okay. I was going to ask you what your favorite horror film is, but okay.
The Chucky films, and they're actually ingrained in my mind forever, to the point where I just talked about this with my sister last night. I have images of Chucky like running with a knife and like cussing at children, like in my mind, and I can't get rid of it from like when I was like 4 years old. And I should not have been watching that. So long story short, I'm not a big horror film guy, but I see the value in it.
All right. You guys can put down your favorite scary or horror film in the chat if you like. Of course, for me, I made a horror film. Daniel, did you know I made a horror film? Did you know that?
That was a Seahawks prediction video this year, right? Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, we're watching it. It's a 17-game horror film right now called 2021 Seahawks season. No, I actually made an actual horror film that was released by Lionsgate in 2009. It's called Frayed, F-R-A-Y-E-D. So go check it out. You guys can check it out too. And it's on the movie poster. If I switch my other background, you can actually see it. Do I have it back here? I don't have it. I don't know if I have it here. I don't have the background here. And I forgot to have my prop ready. But anyway, it's a movie called Frayed, F-R-A-Y-E-D. Go check it out.
It's to all of your followers, Norb, like, this is an example of a guy that loves what he does. He's always wanted to be a filmmaker and produce stuff, and that's what he's doing right now, and found a way to monetize and support his family. I think that's really cool. Obviously, you have other business and stuff too, but it's all kind of in the same realm. And so I just want to encourage like kids out there, like, not everything on the surface can make money, right? Maybe your passion on the surface doesn't make a lot of money. Like, oh, I want to be a chef. I want to be a chef too. And some restaurants aren't going to pay very much, but there's a way to follow your passions, and it's a much more fulfilling career to do that than to work for someone else and like just forget about the dream of you making movies, you know? So I just want to encourage people out there. Like, if Norb and I can do it, you can do it too.
Oh, and for me, I have, let's see, the last time I worked for somebody, like actually was an employee of a company, was right after college. I worked for the University of Washington media department. Then I started my own business. And I've really never worked for anybody ever since. I've always worked for myself as either a freelancer or as, our company for hire. So I don't even know what it's like to go in for an interview and turn in a resume, because I've always worked for myself. We bid for jobs, of course, but I am very fortunate that our company, Quantum Productions, has been able to, stay afloat and do well for the past 25 years with my business partner. You know him as 80s Broncos fan, but his name is Mike Lorraine. So we've had a great business run together, and, we're just trying to keeping on. It's always a challenge when you're, when it's your own business. But as you know, Daniel, you ride the ups and there's the downs, but there's nothing better than feeling like you kind of control your own destiny. So it's great. So yeah, you guys, you youngsters out there, just remember, you got to find that passion of yours. Find out what really makes you tick, what your real love is. Because if you can find that thing you love to do, then it doesn't feel like you're working. It just feels like you're doing something you enjoy doing. So with that tip, we'll wrap things up here on this edition of the Dive In with Dovin. We'll see what happens on Sunday. Seahawks versus Jaguars, hopefully on Halloween Day before our bye week. We got to get a freaking win at home, right, Daniel?
Yes, sir. And just so Star Wars 123 knows, they're called Neapolitan coconut slice bars. So thank you.
Oh, is that really what it is?
Yeah, Neapolitan coconut slice bars. You can get them on Amazon for $32 for 24 of them. Crazy. Probably because they're 100 years ago. Yes, let's get a win. Go Hawks. We're going to be 3-5, baby. 3-5 entering the bye. Feeling good. And Gino will be like, riding the wave on his one win into the bye.
Turn the corner. We've turned the corner. I've been hearing the turn the corner speech for a little bit too much lately.
Limping. Now we're tied with the Jags. It's going to be sad. So we have to win. We have to. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Thanks, Norb.
Appreciate it. Thanks you guys for watching. Make sure you check out Daniel and hit the notification bell. And yes, we will be doing a Madden Sim very soon. All right. Take care, you guys. Go Hawks.